So, moving on, we have Marlene Collins coming up next, and she has a presentation titled Thumbing My Nose at Breast Cancer. And Marlene is a 10-year resident of Hygiene, Colorado, by way of Alexandria, Virginia, and Calgary, Alberta, up there in the Great White North. She's a graphic designer, photographer, and local business owner, wife of one husband, she noted, which I thought was, cool and distinguishes you from, the Mormons, which is nice. I lived in Utah for 2 years, I can actually say that. She's mother of 2 college-age students, a caretaker of 2 dogs, and 9 chickens, including a rooster. Does a rooster have a name? No, all right. Roosters probably... Yes, there we go. They are mean. One chased my brother once, and I was traumatized by it. Marlene is a dual citizen who has fished on both sides of the 49th parallel. Thank you for coming up here, and let's give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you. I may need a little light here. Thank you very much. Thought maybe you had something better to do on a Thursday night when it's snowy, but here you are. I hope I can entertain you. Yeah, is it working? I think so. I'm going to just make sure I have some light here. Okay. So, this crazy adventure started with a phone call. Hi, my name's Leslie. You've been selected. Myself, along with 13 others, selected to spend a weekend learning the fine art of fly fishing. Upon arrival at this wilderness paradise, we were outfitted with gear, a vest, a rod and a reel, some waders, and some boots. After a fine dinner, we broke the ice by sharing our deepest fantasies by answering the question, who would your fantasy fly fishing partner be? No brainer, Johnny Depp. Saturday morning, we started with knot tying, clinch knot, surgeon's knot, improved clinch knot. Then there came leaders, tippets, 5X and 3X. After that we learned about hemostats, thingamabobs, nippers, and strike indicators, which are not bruises on your body, I might add. Etymology, this was a new word added to my vocabulary. It's the stuff that fish eats. They're things like nymphs, mergers, mayflies, and duns. After that, we learned about all the stuff you hope the fish will eat. Things like copper johns, San Juan worms, hare's ears, flies, stonefly buggers, and streamers. And I'm thinking at this point, man, I'm in over my head. We haven't even gotten to the casting part. After a short break, we donned our vests, grabbed our rods and reels, and headed to a field. 14 women unpacking their gear, trying not to poke an eye out. Instructors are asking, is that 4-piece rod together? Ladies, it's a rod and a reel, not a fishing pole. Do all those guides line up? Now, thread that line through those guides and don't miss one or you got to start over. One by one, the instructors gave us the go-ahead. Then step back, ladies. Practice casting is next. Up, stop, lay that line down. Up, stop, ladies, lay that line down. Don't break the wrist and just keep trying. Sure, I said, easy for you to say. Sandy, one of our instructors, is the U.S. Women's National Casting Championship. The whole USA. Kathy, another seasoned instructor, has been fishing since she was single digits. But with their effervescent enthusiasm and encouragement, off to the pond we went to practice our newly acquired skills. Well, who'd have thought the thrill of catching a fish could be so grand? Nancy, 3 women over, would jump up, drop all of her equipment, and squeal with delight. It wasn't until one of the other ladies laid down, grabbed her feet, and held her feet so she could complete the task of reeling in that fish and getting her first grip and grin photo. Over dinner that evening, we shared our fishing stories and laughed about our new fumbling skills. The next day, a streamside gathering Sunday morning gave us our last few intimate moments together as we contemplated our here and now in the world. We wished each other well as we returned back to the lodge to meet our guide, a real fishing professional, a guide who would ensure us fishing success over the next couple of hours. It was the real deal, fishing with somebody on that roaring river, somebody who actually knew what they were doing. You know, we were a mixed bag of fisherwomen, old, young, tall and short, steady and not so steady. But under the gentle and watchful care of our volunteer guides, we all caught fish. And I mean, we caught fish. These weren't minnows or catfish, but big, beautiful trout. We all have the photos to prove it. Because for all this fishing and catching, we also did the releasing. We had to let the fish back into the river to give the opportunity for the next lucky angler to have his grip and grin. You know, our time had come to an end, our boots off and our vests and clothes traded in for our street clothes. And I remember thinking, just 2 days ago, we all arrived as strangers, but today we're leaving as sisters, a real sisterhood of survivors. This whole crazy journey started with a phone call. Hi, my name's Dr. Johnson. You've been diagnosed with breast cancer. My fishing adventure and my newfound hobby was all started with that weekend retreat provided by Casting for Recovery, which is a quality of life program that teaches survivors like me the art of fly fishing. All so often I found myself so focused on not dying and living in fear that I had forgotten how to live. That weekend with Casting for Recovery gave me and survivors like me the opportunity to remember to live and to laugh and to really just thumb our noses at cancer. And that's my story. These are, thank you. That's me and my kids. It was a great weekend, and I am just ever so grateful for the opportunity to have done this. So that's our friend Cody. He's a 22-year-old who has been helping us for 5 years bring out 14 dedicated volunteer guides that fish one-on-one with the women at these retreats. And he's just a dear. He calls them his ladies. And he never fails finding 14 volunteers to come and do that with us. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. That was great. Thank you so much for doing that.
You're welcome.
All right, Stonefly Buggers would be the most awesome band name ever. I completely see them. So guys, we're going to take a little break. Don, is that usually